The best of the week on Relevant Radio.
The College of Cardinals continue to prepare for the start of the upcoming Papal Conclave this Wednesday, May 7th, to elect the 267th Pope of the Catholic Church, the successor of St. Peter and the Vicar of Christ. Joining us live from the Eternal City is our Rome correspondent, Ashley Noronha, for the latest on this week's Papal Conclave. Ashley, give us the latest. What is the update on the Sistine Chapel? I understand that it is all ready to go.
Yes. Here we are, of course, in the Sede Vacante, that Latin term that is referring to the time of the chair of the Holy See being vacant. And as we're preparing for the conclave to start, one thing that we can see on the outside is the reality that the chimney has been now built on top of the roof of the Sistine Chapel. So to give you a little background here, since Monday, April 28th, the Sistine Chapel has been closed to the public, as well as the Vatican Gardens and the necropolis of the Via Triumphalis. And in the meantime, I reported last week that they were busy working on bringing in the stoves that would be inside of the Sistine Chapel, those same stoves that would be used to burn the ballots after the Cardinals voted. They also made sure that the pipes from the stoves went out through the windows there because, of course, the opposite, or if there was any issue with it, that is, it would mean that the smoke would come back into the Sistine Chapel. That has happened before, and it could greatly damage the masterpieces there, including Michelangelo's precious and priceless ceiling. Now, this past Friday, work got underway on actually mounting the chimney on the roof. And so again, this is going to burn the ballots that those 133 cardinal electors will use to vote when the conclave gets underway on Wednesday. They also have been carrying out trial runs. So the fire department of Rome has been doing these trial runs to make sure that the pipes and everything is hooked up as it's meant to be. So in the meantime, the Sistine Chapel itself is being transformed, and it's being transformed into a venue that is going to host the conclave. For example, a timber floor, a raised timber floor actually has been installed. There are 12 wooden tables that sit on it. So there's 6 tables on the right side, 6 tables on the left side, and they're arranged in 2 rows at different levels. And so the cardinals will sit in those very spots, and those will be places not only of voting, but also of prayer and meditation, John.
Well, in past years, it's been a little fuzzy when the smoke comes out of the chimney. There, some of the media wasn't sure whether it was white smoke or black smoke, and so have they done anything? Do you know to make sure that it's pretty crystal clear?
Yeah, that has been a problem. There's been a problem of confusion in the past. And one of the things that they have done is they now use chemical packets. So it used to be that they use wet straw or dry straw in order to create that black smoke or white smoke. But as you're mentioning, John, sometimes the smoke can end up being a little gray and it's confusing. Or imagine the complication on a cloudy day, as with the election of Pope Benedict XVI. A cloudy day can also be confusing because then you can't quite tell what color the smoke is. So now they use chemical packets, which elicit a really, really obviously colored smoke. I mean, it is really white and it is really black. And so there should be no confusion. In addition to that, with the white smoke, they will also toll the bells of St. Peter's Basilica, and that will be another sign to all of us who are waiting and watching that a new pope has been elected.
All right. Meanwhile, the 133 cardinal electors, I would imagine, are in Rome, in place, ready to go.
Well, so yes, actually there are 2 who were missing as of the last congregational meeting of Friday, but that is in addition to the 2 cardinals who will not be attending. So that is Spanish Cardinal Lovera. He's 79. He's the retired Archbishop of Valencia, as well as Kenyan Cardinal John Nujue, and he is the retired Cardinal of Nairobi. He's also 79 years old, but both have told us that they are too ill to travel and to participate in the conclave. So in addition to that, 2 other electors have not arrived. But what is happening in the meantime is that the congregation meetings, as these are occurring, again, this is an opportunity for the various electors to meet. And amongst those, 108 have been appointed by Pope Francis. So in other words, 8 and 10 of the voters have been appointed by Pope Francis. 20 of those just became cardinals back in December, not so long ago. And they come from mostly Europe, but also they represent 20 African nations as well as Asian nations. And then from more far-flung places like Iraq, Iran, China, Mongolia, Myanmar, Haiti, Rwanda. And keep in mind that before these congregational meetings, many had never met before. And so when they enter the congregational meetings every day, the cardinals swear an oath of silence. And they will do the same oath, by the way, before the actual election process begins, so before the conclave begins as well. But during these congregation meetings, they are trying to get to know each other. They're trying to share their personal visions of the church, of the future of the church. And also they're trying to establish a profile of the new pope. And it's not only the voting cardinals, but there's 117 non-voting cardinals who are also participating in the pre-conclave meetings. And although they will not be able to vote for the next pope because they are 80 or above, they really hold still a great amount of influence. And so during these pre-conclave meetings, they too are voicing what they think about what the church needs. And they meet every day from 9 to noon. And then up until, all through last week, there were the Novendiales, the afternoon requiem masses that were held. But after that, the rest of the day is free. And so that said, they then have the opportunity to continue their conversations in a more relaxed way, in a more casual way. It's also interesting, too, to see the way that some of the cardinals are leaving from behind the Vatican walls. Some of them have cars with blacked out windows that are there so that they can get away really quickly. Some will remove their red skull caps. They'll head out on foot. They'll try to kind of blend in amongst the tourists so that they can head back to where they're staying. But in the meantime, it's said that in the evenings or over coffee, this is where the talking continues. Sometimes you'll find that some cardinals will speak to the press and share things. But for the most part, they're also a bit tight-lipped about what's going on in those meetings right now, John.
And Ashley, you have covered the pontificates of the last 3 Holy Fathers. Let's take a look back to the last conclave back in 2013.
It's interesting because it was during this time, during the congregational meetings, that it's said by cardinals who participated that it was at this point that Cardinal Jorge Bergoglio began to emerge as a front runner. And specifically, it was said that during one of his interventions, so they call, each cardinal has the opportunity to have the floor at some point during these congregation meetings. And so it's said that during his intervention, that he really came out as a forerunner. This is a very important time because this is really shaping the direction that the conclave will take, John.
Well, Ashley, yesterday on Sunday was the 9th and final Mass of the Novendiales. What was the focus of this Mass?
Yes. So this Mass was celebrated by Cardinal Memberti, and he was the prefect for the Supreme Tribunal of the Apostolic Signature. Actually, it was Pope Francis who appointed him in that role. He was made a cardinal just back in 2015, so he's been a cardinal for about 10 years. And he is now the proto-deacon of the cardinals. So back in October 24, after Cardinal Martino passed away, Cardinal Renato Martino passed away, Cardinal Memberti filled that role as the protodeacon. So he is the cardinal who we can expect to announce the election of the new pope. We're going to hear those words from his mouth, Habemus Papam, as he stands there on the loggia of benedictions at St. Peter's Basilica. So he celebrated the culmination of the church's 9 days of mourning after the Pope's death, and he spoke about the importance of papal mission being rooted in love. He said that the papal mission is a service to the church, it's a service to humanity. And he said that he saw this through Pope Francis in the way that he was dedicated to the marginalized and also to servant leadership. He also reflected on yesterday's gospel where Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" And of course, then when Peter responds, Jesus says, "Feed my sheep, feed my lambs, feed my sheep." And Cardinal Mamberti noted the significance of love. He tied that into the importance of love in any kind of pastoral mission, and that Peter was showing that he was open to having compassion and having understanding, which is what a new pope should also be, should also have those characteristics. And he then equated them to Pope Francis as having the same. And then finally, he praised Pope Francis for his commitment. And he said that he had great commitment to mission, and to the point where, of course, he gave his last bits of strength of his life to fulfilling that mission. And that was, of course, despite his personal limitations. But he praised him for what he called tireless service, John.
Well, Ashley, as always, appreciate you reporting from Roma, and we're looking forward to the start of the conclave in a couple of days. And
yes.
Many blessings to you, and we'll definitely be checking back with you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And let's continue to pray for our Cardinals.
Absolutely. Ashley Noronha, our Rome correspondent. You can listen to her reports on the Relevant Radio app. Just go to Relevant in Rome. Now, with the chair of St. Peter now empty, where will you go to find the latest news and information about the next Holy Father? Well, Relevant Radio has you covered with our new website. It's called Conclave2025.com. You can find out more about the traditions and procedures that take place in selecting the successor to Pope Francis. Sign up for Smoke Watch, which are short emails that deliver the latest news from the conclave right into your inbox. You'll be among the first to know when the new pope is announced. Visit conclave2025.com. That's conclave2025.com.